This very well may be the strangest question you get asked during this entire convention. When is the last time someone asked you if you're fat deficient? Let's think about it. Probably never, because most of us are thinking, let's get that fat off of me. But what does fat deficient really mean? What does it look like? It may be the person who has fat digestion challenges. I'm a perfect example of that. Many of you have heard my challenges with getting enough good fats to be able to sleep at night, or good enough fats to where my brain would be quiet. Well, have you heard that I also dealt with the first 5 steps in the morning when I got out of bed, that it was extremely painful? That's actually what started my journey to determine about fat and whether I was fat deficient. I was fat deficient not because I wasn't eating it, but fat deficient because I wasn't being able to break it down. Now, we would expect someone to be dealing with fat deficiency issues if they've had their gallbladder removed, because most of us know the role that the gallbladder plays in helping get fat delivered to in our body and to where it needs to go from breaking down process. So these 2 things are just the start of our journey. Here's another one. How many of you is this a familiar picture? Are you tired of that routine walk to the refrigerator? Now, if you're always feeling hungry, or you're always finding yourself ending up, no matter what route you take through your house, back at your refrigerator, there's a couple different things it can mean. Yes, it could mean, as we all know, that you're deficient and maybe some trace minerals in your body's not getting what it needs. Or it could mean that you're not actually getting enough water, sign of dehydration. But did you know that if you're constantly feeling hungry, it could also mean that you don't have enough fat in there to satiate you so that you're not feeling hungry. And it could be, again, because you're not being able to break it down. Now, your brain, one of the most important foods for your brain is actually fat, because it's made up a lot of fat. When your brain has enough, it has fantastic memory and recall. You're not going and finding things in strange places or creating new words. Now, if you've had any of those issues, again, let's look at fat deficient. You might also be fat deficient if you've suffered any type of head trauma. So think of those football injuries, or if we've had car accidents or any form of traumatic brain injury. Other things is focus. If we're having challenges with thinking, it might have to do with not enough fat. And of course, we cannot underscore the importance enough of supporting the body when the brain is developing during pregnancy. It's so important when I'm working with these pregnant women that they're getting enough fats so that their unborn child at that point can receive all the nutrition it needs to grow that brain properly. How many of you think this guy looks like you in the morning? When you look in the mirror, that's exactly the facial expressions you'd be making. So when you don't have enough fat, you are often too fatigued for exercise. And so isn't it kind of funny that you're so too tired to exercise, and then the weight just starts creeping up, that you would ever think, maybe it's creeping up because I don't have enough fat, as in my diet. Maybe you don't have that zeal or the enthusiasm for life anymore. It's just gradually diminished to where you're just like, yay, another day. Or it might actually be showing up with a mid-afternoon energy crash. Again, remember, fat can help us to keep our blood sugar more balanced, therefore helping to prevent the blood sugar crash and giving us more energy, being able to get those things done. Fat is extremely important when it comes to hormones because it does provide our building blocks. When we don't have enough of that, we can see it show up in different ways. For women, one of the ways it can show up is miscarriages. For men, it can show up with sterility. Healthy libido. If you don't have the fat to help support and build the hormones are kind of a critical part of being able to have libido to begin with. So again, we need that fat to support those hormones. Menopause. Menopause can be a whole new ballgame when you don't have enough correct fat to support it. I remember what a big deal and game changer our Solle megas were for me when I went into menopause. It's like another light was turned on in my brain. And another thing, fats provide the building blocks for those hormones, which can also tie into our mood swings. But we can also see all kinds of different things. Mood swings tied to PMS, mood swings just tied to life, mood swings tied to menopause. But in generally, we're going to see a big player with the hormones and that being out of balance as a result of not having the building blocks to build it to start with. How many of you can relate to this? Sharp cravings for fattening foods, like all-consuming cravings, the kind that you can't get the thought out of your head and you just obsess over. I have to have that ice cream, or I have to have that butter, and I have to have that cheesecake. Couple great examples that really were breaking down to fat deficiencies is I've seen children with Asperger's that craved butter, would just grab it and eat it. Well, one of the things that shows up with them is they're fat deficient. I've seen pregnant women that find out that, oh my gosh, their husband comes home and they've consumed an entire cheesecake and they're just like, I just couldn't stop. Well, their body's telling them they need fat. Skin health. So many times we have this dry skin, and it's just like there in the picture, dry, flaking, peeling, cracking. And to me, this picture of the dried up lake bed here was a perfect example of what it feels like. And so as the skin is dry, what happens, because it's not getting enough fats, is it can't hold the moisture in. And so the water leaves the cell, and it literally gets cracking and drying like that. And so how is anything going to heal when your skin's like that? How are you going to have that rosy glow? How are you going to have, soft skin? You're not. Fats become very important for this, and not the kind where you just put it on top. We're talking about coming in at the foundation and giving it to you. So there's puzzle pieces that we're putting together here. And we've only covered a little bit of this, just skim the surface. But what you've already learned is right fats can make a difference. Right fats help to provide energy. They're going to help the cell membranes and the nerve sheets. They're really important for your fat-soluble vitamins, which is something that's going to help all this to function. It's going to be important for brain development, your learning abilities, pregnancy, building blocks for our hormones, and they even play a role in our immune system response. We also see that it lowers inflammation, and it helps us to feel full and satiated. Again, we're talking about the right fats. And that, again, it'll be like a puzzle piece that's connected. So what do the right fats look like? In this case, it looks like EnFatuate. And one of the reasons I love this is because it's 100% plant sourced. We're really good about getting the wrong fats, or too many of the omega-6s and not enough omega-3s. Or maybe we're getting omega-3s from fish, and there's people like me that can't break it down or don't even like fish. But we still need the fats. And as always, our products always have adaptogens in it. So this is adaptogen enhanced. And we've got amazing nutritional fat blend here with the Solle MCT oil, or coconut oil powder. It's going to provide that MCT, avocado oil. I mean, the list goes on and on. But I really want to point out this soothing digestive blend, because if you're like me and you realize that part of your issue is that not that you're not eating the fats, but you can't get them out of the food that you're eating, then being able to support that digestive tract, it becomes a 1-2 punch. It becomes powerful. Most people have no issues with getting enough omega-6s. They just don't get enough omega-3s. In fact, they have a ridiculous ratio often in their diet, really high, whereas your ratio should be about 1-to-1, 1 omega-3 to 1 omega-6. I've seen research and reports that are 18-to-1, 20-to-1 is what's in our normal diet. So for me, having all this in this area and supporting the digestive tract is huge. So let's put it plain. People who eat your standard American diet really have a hard time getting enough omega-3s. And then because they're not necessarily in the greatest diet, they also have challenges with digestion. So we want to help them to be able to get it into their system. My personal observations from taking the EnFatuate, and I do a hot cup of cinnamate in the morning and add a scoop of EnFatuate with it. Number one, feeling very good and happy. The Solle helps supply tryptophan, which is your precursor to serotonin, which is going to help you feel amazing. You combine that with the adaptogens in there, of course we're going to feel great. I'm feeling satiated for hours. I see clients and even myself no longer craving fatty foods or chocolate. And I'm not craving them because I'm actually being able to digest and get the fats out of this formula. Focus, focus, focus. I can zero in and on my thoughts. I love it. Skin is softer. We're seeing all kinds of reduction of inflammation, helps keep your blood sugar even more balanced, reduction of joint pain, and even improved eye health. These are just a few of the benefits that I've seen from having the EnFatuate in people's protocols. Daily use is beyond important. They're called essential fatty acids for a reason. It means your body can't make them. So you know what? It's essential you get them from your diet on a daily basis. Think of it like the tree. We don't just get beautiful green, lush leaves and strong trunks and branches by accident. The proper nutrition has to come in through the roots and be absorbed and go through the entire tree to benefit. Same with our health. Bringing in those good fats, getting the ratio balanced in your diet or more balanced in your diet can only result in improved health. My challenge to you is power up your health with good fats. Add EnFatuate into your daily protocol and stand back and feel the energy and get prepared for blast off.